And greetings, everyone. Good evening. Dr. Espen here. Today, I have the privilege of talking with a friend of mine and a therapist that has been working his magic on my body and on my mind. Luke Bullion is with us today, and we're going to be discussing the science of ascension. Welcome, Luke. How you doing, buddy?
I'm excellent. How are you, Espen?
I'm amazing. It's good to see you again, bro.
Stoked to
last
be.
time we last time we spent some time together, it was you did a treatment on me and a healing on me, but I think we did a lot more than that. We ended up having a pretty profound conversation, so I'm looking forward to having a chat again.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And this is so exciting, guys. I see there's a lot of people watching. Would love to hear where you're watching from. So pop a line in the chat section. Say, hi, I'm Elaine from Cairns, or I'm Sandy from Sydney, or whatever it might be. Luke, before we get any further, we're going to talk about the science of ascension today. Okay, and this is exciting. So before we get into what ascension is, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've done a lot of studies, a lot of work. You work with your hands a lot, very an intuitive person. I can certainly sense that. And you're also writing a book. Give us a quick little introduction. Who is Luke?
Who is Luke? The $1 million question. Ultimately, I'm just a human that's trying to explore my own spiritual roots. And my whole life has been littered with, I guess, paranormal experience that kind of challenges the conventional worldview that we are purely physical beings and we're here to work, have a family, just live our lives in the system. And spirituality has kind of brought me an avenue back into myself to understand that there's more to reality than what we've assumed is real. So ascension is something that kind of fell into my experience at a Vipassana Retreat in around 2016. This was in Sydney. And it was a life-changing experience. Essentially what happened on the third night, I lay in bed after an agonizing day of constant meditation.
And so for those who don't know what Vipassana is, it's basically a 10-day silent meditation retreat. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So you're at day 3 into it?
Day 3. And as I was laying in bed ready to go to sleep, I had a sensation of thick honey entering the middle of my forehead. And this sensation slowly filtered into the middle of my brain. And from that point, it descended down my throat. And finally, it reached my heart. And I had an experience of my heart opening like a lotus. And in that moment, I felt instantly tethered to a divine force. And it was pure ecstasy. It was happiness beyond anything that I felt was even humanly possible. And that experience lasted about 6 days. And
wow.
It shook my world because for a long time I knew there was more to life. I knew that the life I was living was quite superficial and I felt like there was more. But this experience kind of made me realize that my hunch was correct. There's a lot more to being human. And yeah, essentially my nervous system experienced an upregulated state that I didn't even think was possible. For example, I could remember every single thought, feeling, and memory I'd had in my entire life. And just an unlimited sense of love and joy. And it was non-causal. There was nothing in my external world that was necessarily creating that sense of joy. It was purely sourced from internally. And essentially, I've been trying to get back into that state through my own meditation. So I've been meditating quite a while now. It's been a good 6 or 7 years. And I'm kind of tracing back those steps back to that divine state. And yeah, the thing I've realized is it's our human nervous system that actually gets us into these mystical states. And so my book that I'm writing right now is kind of a guidebook for the layperson, someone who maybe doesn't even know what spirituality is, how to bring them step by step closer and closer to this ultimate state, this realization of self. And the journey's still going for me, obviously, but I'm really excited to share what I've discovered.
Incredible. And you know, for those of you watching also, if you don't quite know what we do, effectively speaking, in our organization, we do similar things. We talk about how we can find healing within ourselves, and we understand that as Nikola Tesla said, everything in the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration. So we're talking about essentially raising the vibration within the cellular structure on a physiological level. And what Luke is explaining to us here is how we can have experience the state of samadhi or oneness or bliss or self-realization or God realization, and the scientific process behind this, which is what's so exciting to me, because there is the esoteric side of things and the spiritual side of things, which can be, traced back, 4,000 years and longer through different lineages, anything from Gnostic Christian religions all the way back to the Indian religions and in many other different theology studies as well. But there is a scientific process to this, which is exciting. I mean, we've done tests with our patients in our clinics. We've done tests with our students in our live events as to what happens to the brain waves. Is there a change to the biophysiology? To what degree can the brain secrete DMT, dimethyltryptamine, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, melatonin? And of course, we're not measuring all of these things, but certainly what we've seen through the years is that there is a scientific process. There is a process that can be practiced on a daily basis, and some of which of what I'm studying now is just what we've been doing for quite some time. In this specific project, just over almost 2.5 years, you're seeing it come out in literature. You're seeing it now, like some of the most studies that you see on stroke patients, etc., in the innovative field is what can DMT do and be as a neuroregenerative process? How does the spinal fluid work? Why is the CSF, the cerebrospinal fluid, the first thing to be created in the human embryo? And when we understand that inside of ourselves, we have answers. That since everything is energy, and we can turn the attention back within, can we then apply a scientifically proven process to meet God, to heal our bodies, to become enlightened or in an awakened state? And the answer is yes, which is what we're going to do in the other sections. We'll talk a little bit about it today, because I know for those of you who think this is a bit airy-fairy esoteric, it's not. It's what bridges the gap between science and spirituality, but this is a scientific conversation. And so then we'll hop into the uncensored version, and then in the uncensored version, we'll actually lay out the basics of this technique. I'll talk a little bit about what I do and what you do. You can share a little bit as well. So Luke, when you had this state, right, when you met, I would call it meeting God or meeting yourself or having this higher self to lower self integration in the heart, it seems then that you've been on a path ever since. And with the studies that you've discovered, how would you say there's a crossroad or a bridge between science and spirituality in that sense?
Well, there are two ways of explaining the same phenomena. Essentially, both are trying to get a grasp on what reality actually is. And, obviously with the scientific method where, it's deductive reasoning based on experiments and data. And spirituality is kind of more of a personal, direct path towards experiencing reality. So it's, a lot of it's about self-inquiry, but at a deeper level, it's actually about tuning into what's real for you. And more importantly, like the nervous system itself, because we can't experience reality without our nervous systems. And the fact that the nervous system can grow, adapt, and change over time is kind of the bridge to deepening our understanding of what's real. But this is kind of a direct experiential knowledge. So science is useful to a certain extent because it can give us generalized knowledge about reality, but it's kind of up to every single individual to seek the truth for themselves beyond any kind of socially agreed upon view of reality. So in a way, you don't really want to rely on other people to be intermediaries to the truth, and that includes religion and science. It's a very personal experience being alive. Like, we're all living as individuals, and we need to know what makes life tick for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ascension process essentially refines our nervous system so that we become more sensitive to electrical stimulation. So basically, we're decoding reality based on electrical impulses like hearing and sight and smell and taste and touch. And all of these sensations are being processed by the brain through electrical impulses. But yeah, because the nervous system, we know now scientifically, can change, how you perceive reality actually changes with that, which is quite profound. The question is, why does our sense of reality change over time? Where's that going? What's that leading to? And that's kind of the ascension process. Is it shows you that the reality that you're perceiving now is not the full picture. It actually gets deeper, and it's organic, and it's alive, and it's intelligent, and that we're actually active participants in this whole evolutionary process. And it's actually critical we understand that, because that means that every single one of us is a unique perspective on life and the evolving cosmos. So, yes.
This is why I love doing this, because I get to sit back and listen and just appreciate being served such profound simplicity within wisdom. Honestly, I love that. There is a template. Yes, we know how it works. We're all made up of similar parts: brain cells, hair scales, skin cells, etc. But we're going to have different values, different dreams, hopes, aspirations, made up of different genetic coding, etc. I loved what you said about how the nervous system can shift and change, which is obviously neuroplasticity. And when we do, our reality starts to shift. That means that we're co-creators of our life, that we're part of a magnificent experience, and that we have the power within ourselves to make our lives tailored to our own specific frequency, to our own specific whatever we want it to be. And I love that about what you said. There's no such thing as one size fits all, because look at how much conformity there is. You look at mainstream media, you only hear one side of the story, you don't get the other side, right? And so it's like, don't listen to Luke and I, but let's talk about what are the basics of this and how you can find those answers within. What would you say, Luke, would be one of the, let's say, the top 3 fundamentals of ascension?
First one that comes to mind is feeling. So there's 3 primary modes to being human. There's thinking, feeling, and doing, or behavior. And particularly Western culture right now, we're in overdrive in terms of doing and thinking. The missing element for most of us is actually feeling, deepening our relationship to sensation and emotion. And that process of deepening our feelings is the thing that tunes us back into the ascension process, which is essentially an organic and living evolution. And yeah, you need to be able to feel it occurring. Specifically, the electrical impulses that are running through your nervous system right now, most of us aren't picking them up. And these electrical impulses have information that's actually critical to mastering our lives. So being able to feel that is critical. And we need to kind of develop that skill, kind of like a muscle. It takes a lot of practice. So yeah, don't take my word for it. It's one of those things that you have to start with the basics. And then as you deepen your relationship to your own body, you can start to feel kind of more, I guess, the quantum world that you're describing, you know, that there's definitely more to reality than just physical objects. When you can actually start to feel the energy systems, it's kind of a game changer. It really is. So that was the first one, feeling.
So feeling.
Right? Feeling. And that specifically relates.
Take a moment to go ahead.
Specifically relating to the body, because our body is the aperture to which we experience reality. So when we deepen our relationship to the body, we tether ourselves more deeply to reality and existence.
Recording in progress.
Keep going. Yep.
And another big factor is self-reflection. Constantly reflecting on our lives, on our, our feelings, our thoughts, our behaviors, our work, our relationships, and learning to, develop and recognize things that we need to work on and improve them, because ultimately we are here to be happy. We're here to find joy. And if life is not going the way we want it to go right now, it's definitely something we need to work on.
Cool.
So yes,
I think that's amazing.
Go on.
We've got a bit of a delay here. I can see. We'll try our best. I totally get that. And, I always say the feeling is the healing, and our nervous system is the antenna to the universe. It's the antenna to everything within us and around us. So to slow down the brain and begin to really become present and to learn to feel more, I think is an amazing step as well. What was the second thing you said, Luke, just to recap before we hopped into the uncensored version?
So the body? Or you're talking about self-reflection? Yep.
So the three fundamental state ascension. One is to feel. Second one?
The body. Transformation of the body.
Yeah.
Working through all the
so learning
physical
to feel
tension.
the body as well.
Yep. And then self-reflection.
Yeah. Got it. Love it. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, we've got a bit of a delay. We'll try our best. What we're going to do is we're going to hop into the uncensored version. You'll see a link in the comment section. You can pop in there if you want to join us. That'll be a privilege. And we're going to have the conversation about the scientific process of it, as in what do you do? How do you breathe? How do you take care of your lifestyle? What does it mean to reactivate or reconnect your nervous system into different frequencies and different pathways? And basically try and give you the most basic blueprint of exactly where to start this process of ascension. Luke, thanks so much for joining me. Always a privilege. Looking forward to seeing you in the uncensored version.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.